Alrighty, Owl Hunters. It is a very terrific Thursday. Um, it's pretty mellow on the markets. We're slightly negative, 0.1% negative here on the SPY. The thing I'll be watching out for is an afternoon sell off because we did rip pretty hard yesterday on Wednesday. We ended the day really kind of strong at the session highs. So I would expect a little bit more of a pullback, and it seems like we might get that here. A little bit of a double top formation here over the past 30 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if we just kind of pulled down. I wouldn't expect anything crazy like a waterfall sell off for like, we end down the day like at 1%. I'm not saying that, just, a little bit more of a pullback kind of makes sense, which would be rather interesting because we made a new high yesterday. Obviously, we made a new high this morning, and if we start to not continue to press like as you normally go into all-time high type areas, and when you look at this on when we get to the daily, typically you want to see the market continue higher, breaking out new all-time highs for several days. And obviously today we're not doing it. So unless we kind of get on our horse the past 2 hours and start to make a climb here, it's going to set up some rather interesting scenarios here over the next couple of days, maybe even a couple of weeks. Yeah, I mean, pretty much flat open. It's just kind of a choppy, very just mellow kind of pullback here for the first few hours. Nice little rise here over the past hour and a half. But yeah, past 30 minutes, a little bit of double top formation. Wouldn't be shocked if we did sell down a little bit. Qs, basically flat, slightly negative, a little bit of a gap up there. Nothing crazy. Choppy. Yeah, I mean, that's it. There's not too much kind of going on there. I did be a little bit more bearish today. Let me move that over. We got a little bit of a gap down here, about a 0.4% gap down, a little bit more than that. Quick little pop, quick little drop, kind of just choppy here for a couple hours, a little bit of a sell down, a little bit of a pop here over the past hour, and then past 20 minutes, a little bit of selling off of there a little bit. DIA, slightly positive, kind of a flat open, quick pop. Yeah, okay, not too bad. Quick pop, quick drop. Kind of just flat here over the past 3 hours. Not really doing a whole lot. All right. RSP. Nice gap down here on RSP. Quick pop. Came back down. And that was kind of it. Didn't never really get back to positive. Almost did right here. And just kind of rolled back down. Kind of to the session lows. Past hour. Nice little run. Past 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Nice little drop there. So see how the daily kind of looks. All right. Daily's looking interesting. This one has been throwing some mixed signals the past couple of days. Kind of want to drop. Looking pretty good. Yeah, I mean, if we do get below these two lower wicks on Wednesday, Thursday, I would imagine we probably do sell off here on the RSP. But I guess if you did go into that, if you did take an idea of a bearish trade on Wednesday, kind of like I was talking about on Wednesday, and you did have your stop loss above Tuesday, you're probably just going to move it down. Or I'm sorry, Tuesday we were talking about that. Monday, this high. If you did put your stop loss up maybe above Monday, you're probably just going to move it down right to the top of today. Yesterday was really kind of an iffy day, man. It kind of came back a little bit of an aggressive move there. But it doesn't mean it wouldn't work. It's just I was kind of surprised at how much we did pop here on the RSP yesterday. Other than that, also just wouldn't be surprised if we just kind of took another day and just wound up bouncing up out of here. So I would just say if you did take a opportunity to go bearish, you're probably just reducing any potential losses down to the highs of today. DIA and throwing a nice little upper wick. Okay. I mean, yeah, I mean it's not a horrible sign. I mean we did move pretty good here for a few days, ever since last Friday. Nice strong bullish day. Okay, looking okay. Might take a couple more days to kind of figure it out. The IWM doesn't look as good. Definitely doesn't look as good here. I mean, selling down quite a bit today. And we're starting to just get into a, one of these like kind of pennant patterns kind of shaping up here over the past couple weeks. So maybe another day or so. Yeah, we'll see how this thing closes. Maybe looks tomorrow. Qs, yeah, Qs had a very strong day yesterday. So yeah, if it does wind up pulling down some more, I mean, it's not, it doesn't really change the way the Qs looks all that much. SPY, SPY. Yeah, I mean, it still looks somewhat decent just because the Qs are so dominant right now. Big tech is so dominant. Obviously, a lot of that's Nvidia. They don't. It doesn't look horrible. It doesn't look horrible. So there you go. Not looking too bad. Real quick look at transports. So transports, yeah, got a little bit of an upper wick. Nice little gap up here on transports today. So if these guys, if the transports can start to look a little bit better, then okay, I that wouldn't be a bad thing. But these guys just look so bad here the past couple of months, and that's, I mean, even the RSP looks better than that. So, anyways, it's kind of just keep an eye on transports there. VIX not really doing a whole lot. Dollar's not really doing a whole lot here either. We did get some data this morning, Thursday morning. We got the initial jobless claims came in at 229K. Forecast was calling for 220. Prior month was 221. So obviously that's a little bit of a step up there. 229. So a little bit more of a step up there. I'm sure some people are probably not liking that, and we'll see if right now those trends are continuing up. Yeah, I mean outside of this actually huge bump that we got back in early May, I mean it has been on the upswing past like month and a half ish. We just had a nice little bump there early May and then kind of like settled down a little bit, but we've been back on the upswing. So the trend is definitely rising, and that could be a concern for the market going forward. GLD, looking pretty good here. All right. I was wanting to see a little bit more of a deeper pullback, but maybe we don't. I would just continue to be bullish on any dips. I'll continue to preach that one. 10-year yield has stopped from its dropping, and it doesn't, I mean, that candle doesn't look like a reversal candle. Definitely looks like a continuation candle. So we might see yields continue to drop off today. 10 and 2 inversion, just kind of hanging out, not really doing a whole lot. HYG pulling back a little bit, which is kind of interesting. We're not seeing yields dramatically higher. Okay, so HYG pulling back a little bit. LQD pulling back a little bit as well. TLT pulling back a little bit. Nice little gap down, but it has risen throughout the day, but still negative. All right, take a look at sector rotation throughout the day. We got utilities at the lower end, industrials also at the lower end. Tech selling off. I think a lot of that's probably coming from Nvidia. I think selling off today. Materials selling off there a little bit, not much. Financials are in line with the market. Real estate outperforming. Healthcare as well. Energies doing pretty good. Communications, staples outperforming, and discretionaries at the higher end of the day. Take a look at intraday performance. At the lower end, you got industrials, utilities, and tech all at the lower end of the day. Then you got financials outperforming, materials, communications, discretionaries, healthcare, staples, energies, and real estate at the higher ends of the day. So there you go. It's kind of the way the day looks. So we knew Nvidia was rapidly approaching the $3 trillion market cap, and Nvidia hit $3 trillion yesterday for close. They actually overtook AAPL for the past day, or like yesterday's close. They had a higher market cap than AAPL, Apple. But obviously, selling off today has has gotten them back below that. So, but Nvidia's like they're up there, man. They're one of the big dogs. So everybody wondering what was going to be the next $3 trillion company after Microsoft and AAPL, Microsoft and Apple. Well, Nvidia is number 3 because Alphabet and Amazon never quite got there in time. All right, excuse me, man. Let me get a drink of water. All right, let me know if there's anything you guys want to take a look at. That's just kind of what's going on around the market. Obviously, jobless claims did not come in the way I'd imagine a lot of people in the market really kind of thought. And so that would be the one thing that's, man, it could really throw a wrench into the market is if we started to see the unemployment really shoot up. Now that it seems like yields are kind of starting to mellow out a little bit. What was I looking for? Extended hours. So it seems like there was a little bit of a reaction when we got the initial jobless claims this morning, pre-market. A little bit of volatility, nice little drop, but then we kind of just rose right into even the market opening. But then we've pulled back since the market's been open. All right. I'm very tempted to probably change the market outlook video that I put out every weekend, every Saturday morning, to probably go ahead and put it on sell or profit taking type of thumbnail. And a lot of it is because I thought we'd get one more push to an all-time high. I think we got it, and you see that we're immediately selling from that. So we'll see how much we sell off today. Probably give it another day. I might not even do it this week. I might wait for next week because even if we do start to top out here, it won't. It's not like we're gonna pull back 10% next week, right? I mean, we might just float sideways next week, and then it'll start to give us signs like, yeah, okay, the market is topping type. We're not pushing higher anymore. It'll do something like this, right? We got the push higher, and then we just kind of go sideways for a few days. The other thing I want to be kind of curious about to see what the unemployment percentage kind of comes in at tomorrow morning. But anyways, that's kind of giving you, it's kind of the mindset I'm kind of getting into is potentially changing things to just selling, locking in profits, or just being like super protective, that kind of stuff. Manufacturing, industrials down quite a bit. What is going on here? ETN's down quite a bit. It's not earnings. Okay. I don't really see Tesla's up 2%. Let's check on Tesla. We knew it was getting kind of tight in here. It was looking like yesterday I wanted to break down. Still might. I mean, it hasn't really broken any major support or resistance levels all that much. So just getting real tight in here. You can go either way. Whichever way this thing breaks, you're probably looking for at least a quick run to either one of these support and resistance lines. Other than that, Amazon up 1%, utilities down. A lot of electronic technology, Micron's down 3%, even though a lot of the semiconductors were doing good yesterday. How's crude oil doing? Is crude oil bouncing back some? Yep. So one of the issues that crude oil is going to have now, since it broke this support and resistance line area here around 76 to 77, somewhere in there, 70, maybe even up to 78, you're just going to find resistance there now because we had clearly a breakdown. So So yeah, any kind of moves higher are gonna hit resistance. Even gasoline. Also here, gasoline around 244 or so. Gonna be an issue. And 240. Yeah, somewhere around 240, 241 here on heating oil. So let's take a look at 30-year yield. 30-year yield. Yeah, it doesn't look good. I can get rid of this line. All right. Here's a look at the 2 years. So the 2 years getting ready to break this 4.7 support and resistance level. 471 support and resistance level down. And if that happens, I think the market would be market and treasury. I think they'd all be fed. I think they'd be very happy with that. Let me know if there's anything you got. If not, get out of here. Not too much kind of going on. It is kind of a sleepy time right now in the markets. That last month before we get to next earnings season. Kind of a sleepy time unless we get like a lot of economic data. Which, curious, the next time we hear from the Fed, CME Fed Watch Tool will be next week. June 12th. So yeah, that'll be next week will be a rather important one. I mean, they're not going to say anything about rates. I mean, it's going to be hold. We're expecting 97% hold. I think it's still going to be what their forecast is. What are they thinking for these outer months for like November, December? Like, what are they thinking out here? Maybe even into early 25. What are they thinking out that far? That's gonna be the thing that people are gonna want to know. They're not gonna tell you that most likely in their initial statement. I don't think, unless they're updating the dot plot. If they update the dot plot, obviously we'll get a little bit better understanding there. If we don't, we're just gonna have to rely on someone asking questions at the end in the Q&A part. Rivian updates to the R1 with new motors and battery pack. All right, so RIVN, is it RIVN? Yep, RIVN. Basing looking a little bit better. This thing's had a pretty tough go of it for a while. All right. Netflix record back in sight on push into sports and live events. So Netflix is going to get into the sports and live events area. Interesting. All right. Microsoft, NVIDIA to face U.S. antitrust probes over AI moves. Wow. See, this is what's tough. And so I'm gonna be honest, as a consumer of their products, I want them. So, and that's tough as a consumer. So, as someone that uses Microsoft's products, every now and then NVIDIA's products, I want them to bring the best products. I want them to bring the best products. But the other part about being a consumer is I don't want them to have a monopoly, because then, like, as a consumer, then you just get charged so much because there's no other competition in the space, and that's the whole point of antitrust, right? But the other thing about these companies acquiring and making deals is it can be very anti-competitive, and that's the whole part of I've said this for years. They need to get more serious about big tech and big tech buying smaller companies, because big tech, what they do is they go in and they buy these companies for like a couple million to a couple hundred million before they get to, especially maybe into like a couple $1 billion, because they make that in a day. But the possibility of that company being disruptive to their business is a much greater risk to those companies. Like, yeah, I mean, they'll write you a check every day to say, yeah, we don't want you to be a competitor in the next couple of years because, we can just write you a check today. But, European Union, U.S. antitrust, FTC needs to be more serious about being strict on those companies, big tech guys. Other than that, Alpha Hunters, have a great rest of your day and take care.